In this town, helmet embodies our pride. It's a symbol that's a perfect fit for the birthplace of football. It's who we are. Everybody else may not get it, and that's okay. But here, it's simple. We put on our helmets, and we go to work. And this year, when it's time to go back on the field, and the rest of the league looks us in the eyes, they'll see something familiar. Something that harkens to the past, but only looks forward. A new era of Browns football returns.
Here are your hosts, Bo Bishop and Nathan Zagura.
Oh, baby, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle. And look at you in the new lid.
Oh, kids. I'll tell
Now.
you what. For my peripherals, the white is so nice. It's so good. I'm feeling great. It's a beautiful thing. Like, look at the gloss here. A little gloss for the people.
We had
kids.
Obviously you had a feeling and various hints.
I mean, various hints.
Various hints.
If you scoured the internet, you were well aware this was coming.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say, though, that I didn't give proper thought to, because we've worn this hat. We've worn this face mask.
Part of our identity.
No, but even last year.
Yeah, we wore a few, like a one-off.
One-offer, yeah, maybe. But one thing that I didn't give enough credit to until now, especially now that I see it here, is that the color is back and the gloss is back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing that is really noteworthy from the previous helmet. Uno, do we have one of our other ones in there just for a juxtaposition? Do we have
Great
the one
word.
that we had signed?
Great
looking.
word.
Because we have the one that we had signed by everybody, unless Gibbe used it in a raffle.
Probably did. I'd like to undo this chin strap, but
Is it here? The one that we have signed by everybody? Oh, it's downstairs?
downstairs.
Have Griff do it. Well, you're running. You're the head honcho. I don't need you running around. We got 2 interns in there.
2. Uno. Griff.
Yeah, but I just think it was, if you see them next to each other, then it makes it. That's it. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful lid.
It is a nice lid.
The white
Looks
mask.
good. Look at Gibbe. He likes it.
He's gone. Okay.
And now he's off.
Let me ask you, why would the CBD helmet that was autographed by everybody who came on this show in a 2-year
And a
period.
pretty popular group of people.
Yes. I mean, Odell.
Why would that be downstairs?
Why would that be downstairs?
It's a question for Gibbe. By the way, we're going to need
Are you concerned?
We're going to need to update that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Get that.
Well, they're
helmet
doing
up.
it on the building out front. I was thinking of this when
I'd like to get this
I
updated.
threw this guy on this morning,
Yeah.
and
It's yesterday's news, brother.
it's yesterday's news.
But you look great in that vest.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Previtz
Yeah.
did some great work down
I did
there.
mine yesterday. You did
Yeah.
yours today.
So,
Very nice.
yeah, I think it's great. And we have J.W. Johnson. He's going to be in here with us in about 10 minutes, right? We'll have him on. So we'll ask him about the process and all of that. His quote in the release today, we're excited to honor our storied history through the return of the white face mask. We continue to write the next chapter of Brown's history, reflect on different eras, such as the Cardiac Kids and return to the franchise that led us to this place in time. It's funny, when I think of the white helmet, or the white face mask, rather, I think of Kozar,
Think of Bernie.
Metcalf.
Yep.
That's Clay Matthews. There was a Clay Matthews thing on the wall here.
Yeah, right here.
That went across the entire wall of like just him up close, and that's what I think of is that
that
the,
era,
the
which
mid
is
to late '80s is
best
the one that
Recent
jumps out to
era
me.
of the Cleveland Browns. Here comes Gibbe.
I'm so confused why this helmet
It feels like it should be under lock and key.
was downstairs
Think about what
in a box.
Think about what a one of a kind helmet that is now.
Do you think that Gibbe was trying to get it resurfaced, and then is he trying to eliminate the helmet?
We'll find. Let's ask him. By the
Gibbe.
way, how about this next level of Gibbe? Now he's highlighting things.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so this is the one. All right, there you go, Gibbe. Why did this end up downstairs? What were you doing?
We got rid of the shelf.
Okay.
You sound a little winded.
Well, yeah.
Good
Well, he's
hustle.
got. That's why you had. I wanted
Good-
your
that's
minions
good
to do it. I didn't
hustle.
want you to
Good
do it.
hustle, though, Gibbe.
You hustled.
Get him,
Hey, I need
get him
some
some
stuff.
water.
Yeah, you
get
did
this
good.
guy some water.
I'm not that gassed.
Okay.
All right, so you got
good.
Kareem on here,
Okay,
Joe Show, Odell, Jarvis,
This my side had Batonio, the Hoff,
the Hoff.
Demarius Randall,
Yeah, there's Demarius Randall.
and there was one other one. Sheldon Rankins.
Is that 98?
Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah, Big Shell. Yeah.
Big Sheldon, yeah.
Who came in here in a Montclair orange puffer hoodie.
Yeah. Is that a Mac Wilson on there?
It is a Mac Wilson. Yeah.
He got paid.
That's it. Did Freddie sign this? I
don't
thought we
think
had
so.
Freddie sign it.
Also, notice, look on here. Look at the stripe here.
Oh yeah, no carbon.
No carbon.
The biggest. I mean, if you think you can get that off your head? I was concerned because it was a decent amount of strain getting it on.
It gives me when Dwight got that pumpkin stuck on his head in The Office vibes. That's what it looks like from over here.
When what?
When Dwight got that pumpkin stuck on his head in The Office.
No, it's off
for the whole episode. That's what it looks like from back here.
We're good though. Now we're good.
Yeah. So now you see, for those of you on the stream, now you see when you see them right next to each other, you see the enormous difference.
It's and this is a breathtaking helmet. Yes, it is an enormous difference. The orange, the pop of the orange, the white, which accentuates the orange, in my opinion, also ties in nicely with the white stripe in the middle.
Yeah.
The lack of carbon fiber is good. Now, this is the color that you and I were talking. Like, it would need to be this dark if you went with a brown lid.
Yeah, that's almost black.
It's hard for me to believe that it
This
isn't.
one really almost looks black with the
Yes.
carbon fiber.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have to be that dark. Somebody put one up.
Do you see a cream? Somebody had a cream idea.
Well, you know, I'd be a big fan of a cream.
Be great.
We love a cream.
Love a cream.
Yeah. Yeah, I think someone put one up with brown. It was brown with like orange numbers on it.
It's tough.
I don't think you could see the
No.
numbers.
You might have to just go brown, and then have the stripe be orange and white with a white face mask. I mean, I think that'd be the only way you could do it.
Yeah, I'm not thinking we should. Cream
No.
might be the better way to do it.
Cream would be good, and then I think you could have a cream version of the throwbacks.
Yeah, you could do a very light cream version of the ones
shadow
we wear,
box.
the shadow box.
Yeah.
I think that would work.
It looks very
and
vintage.
would look very vintage.
Yeah.
It would have it. We put up on
like it was made out of polyester.
I like it. They put up our logo history through the years. It's amazing, like how many incarnations of brand have been attempted. There's a bunch of different helmets
It's all
through the years.
The last four,
And then
it's
there's
this, then the gray face mask,
Right.
this, then this, and then.
But even
now we're back.
the helmet's different because there's the one that's back from like the 70s, which is more like that 70s
With the
Riddell
two. Yeah, it's great.
2.
Yeah, that one's
There's
good.
that one that's out there. There's kind of a 3D kind of a side one, which they had in the 80s, a side helmet. And then there's Brownie way back.
way back.
Two
brownies.
different brownies. And I did not recall there were two different brownies.
Me neither.
It's one of the coolest brands in all of sports, one of the most beloved brands in all of sports, and one of the craziest brands in all of sports.
Yes.
It really is when you think about it. When you think about it, we're named after a guy and the various things that have been done. But this is it. This is beautiful. That thing is going to pop, baby. So we didn't have this. We didn't have the shiny this year, did we? When
The
we wore 'em?
finish, no.
We wore this.
We
It was
had
this.
that finish. Yeah.
The flat.
Yeah. Now we have the gloss.
So now we have the gloss, and then you've got the white face mask. I'm in.
I'm in. It is beautiful.
Cool to see Nick in the video too.
Yeah. Looking good. Especially amid the reports yesterday. There was feels like, wild speculation that
jeez.
he wouldn't be
What did
back
I
till
miss?
November.
Is that what I missed?
Yeah, but it's unfounded speculation.
This is we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. When you don't have coaching change, you don't have front office change, you don't have a first round pick, free agency's wrapped up by the second week of March, it's just dead. And so
this team, we've talked about it. It's not looking for a savior. It's not. This team is not. Let's get hyped up. We know what this team is. We know what they're capable of. This is going to be about, does this team deliver on its promise?
Yeah.
Simple, easy, very simple in my mind.
Yes, but also when you are let's face it, our fan base craves content and craves information about this team because they're as passionate as any in sport, and you have people responsible for content that they have to write something.
Of course.
So this is the way that it goes, and this is how. I mean, it was interesting, like how many different ways Deshaun's press conference yesterday was interpreted across the beat and us. And you had a text, and I was like, well, I didn't seem like that to me. And then we had people putting stuff on social in terms of the tone of that, and that didn't. It's not what I heard. But this is what happens when you don't have actual things, when you're not talking about a potential first-round pick, we're not talking about, hey, we got to get that, we got to work a trade here to get this X position. When you don't have that, this is what happens.
It means you're good.
It means you're good.
I got news for you.
Being good isn't the most interesting offseason.
I got news for you.
What's that?
That means you're good.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not the most interesting offseason, but that's the interest comes in the season, which I think is a good thing.
Who do you think is in charge of swapping out all the logos? Who's overseeing that? Because people are saying the YouTube channel needs a new logo. Stat, there's it's the brown face mask is everywhere. What is the? We'll ask
digital
JW.
team.
We'll ask Mr. Johnson when he comes in here. What is your timeline on replacing all of the brown face masks, and who's in charge of it?
What are they gonna do with this? Do you think?
And how many do you suppose are out there at the facility, on the media, it's electronic?
1 million.
I think it's way more than people realize.
Yeah.
I bet you feel like you've done them all, and then there's 200 more
that show up.
You go, oh God, I forgot we had them on this.
Yeah. Got to make sure everybody else has your marks as well. You got to get those marks out there. I'm curious to see what they do with this now, because this is now a photo of Nick Chubb.
I feel like we're all going to need new gear, like top to bottom.
Well,
we will.
You're going to. Yeah, because all of it is. You and I are both wearing outdated gear.
Well, it's outdated as of 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Outdated, nonetheless.
You wonder, could there have been should there have been a quarter zip waiting with a new logo?
Probably should have been a box of that upon arrival. Yeah. Very good.
There's a lot to be done. I mean, my parka, which fortunately I don't have to wear often anymore because I'm out of the elements, has a gray face mask on it.
Does it really?
That's how back my parka goes.
Yeah.
It still has a gray face mask on it.
I was having a conversation this morning with somebody. It's like, why did so many NFL teams wear gray face masks? That was the default.
Yeah, it was just like that was the bacon. That was like what it came in.
Every NFL in those days, Riddell was the only maker.
Why is primer?
You would only get gray.
Why is primer gray?
Right.
Because you can put any color on it.
Right. So in that time, there weren't an ability to put a colorized face mask.
No.
So if you go back and watch video of the 70s, all of them are gray.
All gray.
Yeah. And it wasn't until the late 70s, early 80s, and some just stuck with it. Some just stuck with the gray. So there you go. All right. JW coming in? Is that the plan?
I believe he will join
Are we
us.
doing accurate? Are we doing 115 or are we going to do?
He told me 115.
Well, I'm not going to make him wait. Not going to happen on my watch.
So
we can filibuster if we need.
We got a minute or two probably.
Okay. All right. You want to give us a call to the bullpen when it's like take a break?
Let's talk about the fact that Golf League today and now Tornado Watch.
Till
we have
7.
tornado tonight?
Yeah.
7.
I didn't
Anytime
get that.
after 5 o'clock. From 5 to 7. Oh, now it's time to go to break.
Well, so it's interesting. Yeah, I got it. We're moving a lacrosse practice, to a different time, but I thought it was to avoid the rain. All right.
There he is.
Great friend of the
Luminaries have
program,
arrived.
Giant L, J.W.
Massive
Johnson,
L.
joining us. Coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily
Does it
on
get
850
bigger?
ESPN Cleveland. Don't miss Billy Joel, Ron Stewart together the first time ever. It's
Don't you
Friday,
dare.
September 13th. How could you?
Can't.
It's at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale right now. You go to clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024 for more information.
Billy and Rod 2024.
Billy Joel, Rod Stewart, one night only.
One night. Only chance.
Giant L Luminary in the studio with us, Executive Vice President,
Humongous.
boss, partner, J.W. Johnson. You've done it, buddy.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're fired up. Thanks for having me, first of all. I appreciate you guys and all that you do.
It's a treat.
Yeah.
It's a treat.
When does a kernel of a thought about making a change get mobilized and then get finalized?
So, we thought about making a change a couple years ago when we were introduced the white face mask as an alternate when we had during the Ravens game. And, there's a massive process that has to go on getting the helmet change or any type of logo change with the NFL. And so we've had this thing going now for a couple of years. It just felt like the way it looked. I think the glossy kind of finish now is way better. I mean, the matte was nice, but when you watch the game on TV, it just feels so dull. And compared to like now, I think it'll really pop, and the white face mask pops. And so it's we're excited. I'm excited. I think the fan base is fired up about it. So, I think the players are obviously very excited about it. So we're
beautiful.
happy. We're happy.
So we were wondering, as we look around here, and we've got that logo there.
And just go, yeah.
How many do you think places does this logo actually need to be changed, and what army is responsible?
I got to thank our main man here, Phil Dangerfield, and his team for
They're out there in the front.
scouring.
Yeah.
We're already replacing the signage now, and there's a handful of logos. I guess someone commented that we needed to change the logo on your YouTube page already. So we've got a handful of things we got to go through stadium here, but we've already gone through the process, and we're happy to make those changes because this is going to be here forever. So we're not changing again.
Is there so Phil will handle the facilities stuff, but then you're thinking about electronic media. We're talking about gear, like all of that stuff. Well, do you have a helmet change czar who oversees? Is that you? Are you helmet change czar? Are you making sure they all? Who's in charge of that?
He feels like a czar.
It's a big job.
The league is obviously helping out with all the merch and Nike and our friends at Fanatics, et cetera. But like I said, Phil, his team, us, where we've gone through the list and kind of made the appropriate changes. So I wouldn't say czar. That feels very, I don't know.
I like the
feels
TS.
very regal.
Yeah.
It is a little ancient. A little
TS
Russian.
for czar versus CZ.
Yes.
TS maybe.
Yes. So as you sit here, you look at it is beautiful.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
It's
It looks
absolutely
great.
glorious.
Yeah.
And it's going to pop with it's going to look so good. Just because this is completely out of left field, but we were going through yesterday trying to make every team now is allowed to have 3 helmets.
Yes.
So we currently have 2. We have this in the white, and
Yep.
we were trying to go through and think of potential thirds. So can we give you the Browns Daily idea?
Well, I'll say this: we're definitely going to explore a third helmet.
Okay.
So to all the viewers and listeners out there, we will
baby.
go down that route of exploring a third helmet for next season.
Wow, there you go.
Well, maybe it was a good question. Maybe it wasn't out of left field.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
So
What more do we need to do?
we got to give him the CBD pitch.
Oh, that's
hear
right.
it.
I'm sorry.
We got
the
the
pitch.
ear of the big man right
Yeah,
here.
that's true. Yeah.
Are you
So
ready
we
for
think,
this pitch?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, let's
We're
go.
quite prepared. Yeah.
All right.
He went
So-
to private school. He's fine.
We love the shadow box uniform.
Okay.
We think it would be cool to make it kind of look vintage to go with maybe a cream shadow box uniform and then a cream lid with it.
Interesting. Cream, like in the sweatshirt that you used to rock.
The
Like-
sweater or the jacket I have, that
Jacket.
starter.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
that kind of a cream.
We'll put that in the hopper.
Yeah.
The brown is we've had some people mock up some brown. It's tough because it's if you just I guess you just invert it, but it's tough.
It is. I mean, listen, we have 3 primary colors, so white, brown, and orange, and we've exhausted 2 of them, and it'll be interesting. We'll see, brown would be the natural thing if we did something that route. But no, we've already gone down the rabbit hole. We're looking at a couple things. Do you put something on the side of the helmet, which, we've seen stuff, but when we first got here, changing and putting anything on the helmet was sacrilegious, and so I don't think we ever want to do that, nor will we. But We'll see. So we may open it up to some fan interaction, and now we have you guys interacting as well. So perfect. We'll just add you to the mix.
And maybe there's a way to finagle like a little gray into the color, so we have 4 colors, and then all of a sudden
for
you could
God's
have.
sakes, Segura, how many
you
things
could
are
have,
you going to ask for in
you
one
could have.
show?
We're ideating. We're idea men. We thrive on enthusiasm.
Gray would be great.
Because then you can go gray and orange. Think of Rocky Top, perhaps. They have some interesting
Well, I went to Ole Miss, so I
he's
have no
not
affiliation
part
with
of that.
Tennessee.
No, there are plenty around, though.
How do you balance? This is such an iconic brand.
Yep.
It is it's kind of we put up the on the Twitter today, or the X, whatever it is, the logo history.
Yeah,
And
saw
you go,
that. Yeah.
wow, like that. There's so many different things to it. You got an elf and there's a dog. Like this is an iconic brand. It's a beloved brand. It's kind of a widespread brand in terms of the various things that have been done through the history. How do you balance tradition, beloved, look like the Browns, which I think you guys crushed with the new uniforms when you brought the new uniforms
perfect.
back, and obviously this too.
Yes, perfect.
And the third jersey with the white was incredible, with also trying to keep it to do fresh and do one-offs, that type of stuff. How conscious are you of making sure that balance is right?
It's hard because, look, I'm very traditionalist. I think, what we did in 2015 was a little bit of a reach, and I don't know if we really needed to do anything, but we did. And it took us a handful of years. Obviously there's a rule you have to have a 5-year window to be able to do something different. So that's when we relaunched the new uniforms in 2015, which I think have been a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Our fans love them. I'm sitting here looking at the great Nick Chubb across the studio here, and it's fantastic. So. I think we, with the new dog logo, that's something we pushed the limits with a little bit last year, and kind of the Brownie and getting the running version of him and seeing some different stuff. So we want to stay to our roots. We kind of want to try to tinker as much as we can and modernize, but it's really hard to do when your logo is the helmet.
Classic, right?
And, it's pretty simple. And like I've said before, if you were living in a cave for, I don't know, however long, and someone said, you brought out all the logos, and said, what sport is this? They'd gravitate to us and say, well, that's football because we have a helmet, and that's what we're all about. We're all about football here in Cleveland.
I love it. I love that. We are all about football. Speaking of, guys, the boys are back in town.
It's awesome.
How nice is it having everybody back together?
It's great. Obviously the building's always busy and we're jumping here, but when the guys are here, it's definitely a nice new level of energy. First day of school the other day, we had a really good turnout. All the quarterbacks were here, which is great to see. Deshaun's doing well and doing everything he can to rehab, and we're excited to get him back. Seeing Nick and that group and that guy, I'm telling you, he's in here every day, every morning, grinding and doing everything he can to get ready. So do not doubt Nick Chubb. But yes, it was great to see everybody and, new coaching staff in certain ways. So just fired up. Phase 1 is a nice little tease, but as we keep going and get into OTAs, it'll be really exciting.
We always say, like, around here where our weather is what our weather is. We don't ever want to speed up summer, ever. But at the same time, with this team, it's pretty fully formed, and it's like, if it'd be nice if you just like keep summer, but at the same time, like you want to get to September, like you just want to see this team play, because we were talking with draft. Now that we're through free agency, we're not really waiting on anything. We kind of have everything.
Yeah.
We just need some guys to get healthy, which are going through a regular process. Believe that they will. But we just want to see this team play, and that's kind of where we are.
Yeah. No, obviously, we're excited about the draft coming up, too. I think Andrew and those guys have done a great job building this team, and, through the draft, through free agency, and have really put a nice meld of young talent and veterans together. And so I think they'll continue to scour the mid rounds here in the next week, a week from tomorrow. I guess.
Listen, we're counting on them finding an MJ Emerson or a DeJuan Jones.
They
They
do
do that every year. That's what
everybody
they
else
do.
or getting a steal like JOK a couple years ago.
Baby.
So yeah, I think the guys are ready to go, and Thursday will be just sit around and wait and see what happens, and then Friday, Saturday it'll be a lot of fun for us. So. Excited to add some new players to the roster.
When you think of, and we were talking about this the other day, at least for me going into season number 12, this time of year in the draft was, for many cases, it was, okay, we need to find a savior. That's not where we are. Sure. Then it was, okay, we need to find a starter at this position, this position, this position, this position. That's not where we are. I don't know that there are really any necessarily starting jobs open. There could be some competition at some places, but this team is formed, and I would imagine it gives some freedom to find the best players, but also it's probably a draft that's going to have maybe some succession planning in mind as well as immediate impact, which is a neat kind of strategy layer to go into this with.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we, in years past, it was like, we got to listen. We're fortunate to get Jed Wills, and at that point in time, we needed a left tackle.
Yep.
He had to come in and play right away, and you wish you could have had him, maybe sit back and learn a little bit. But look, he was thrown right in the fire, and Jed's done a nice job, and he's continued to grow. We're excited to get him back and healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a nice position to be in where you're not filling for positions of need. You're looking at potentially best player available. There may be some position of need stuff, but yeah, it's a nice that we're not having the draft be our Super Bowl, and hopefully the Super Bowl will happen here for us in February.
Yeah, Super Bowl's a Super Bowl. That's true. That's it. Yeah.
Are you surprised that people continue to trade with Andrew Barry sometimes? Like, to me, it would be at some point, it'd be like, I'm not interested in trading with you. The track record's been so good, and now an opportunity to maybe have another very good value in Jerry Jeudy, and clearly the organization believes in him with that contract extension that he got.
Look, Andrew and those guys, I mean, that whole group, they scour, they look everywhere, they get very creative, they're very patient, which is good. I mean, I think sometimes you see people do something very quickly and let things happen and come to you, and then he's done a great job kind of maintaining that patience. And I would say same thing with the draft. Like, we're in a position where, look, if there's somebody available at 54, great, let's take them. If not, things don't go our way, we may be able to acquire another fourth later on in the draft. So there's a lot of good things. Don't count Andrew out and the guys on kind of doing some maneuvering over the next couple of days. So it'll be fun.
He's the best at being nimble.
He's quite
He's
nimble.
always ready to go.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on this.
It's beautiful.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I think we're very excited. I mean, thanks for the fans for providing their feedback. And we do listen to you guys. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but we try to listen, incorporate your thoughts. This is something that I thought was, and the rest of the family also said, listen, we think this is a good move. It'll look great. This look good on TV. I think the guys are excited. We're just happy to have it done. And
it's a win.
And again, to your point, I can't wait till we have our first game here in September, and let's get rolling, baby.
Good seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
J.W. Johnson, Executive Vice President and partner here and owner, of course, here with your Cleveland Browns. New white face mask, glossy helmet. It's gorgeous. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, it's Bo here for my friend, the James B. Beam Distilling Company. Some say that rye whiskey is having a moment. They certainly are. Overolt's been having a moment for over 200 years. This is what they do. The legacy continues today with A. Overolt, the latest chapter in their ever-evolving story of American rye. Taste what 2 centuries of experience can make with a robust Pennsylvania-style rye whiskey. The newest thing in rye is also the oldest thing in rye, and it's available now and worthy on a First Friday for certain. Yeah, the cream. I think it's the cream.
I think it's right.
I think the brown's
Listen,
really hard.
We got to make our.
Made a pitch. Made a solid pitch.
And we were ready.
I wonder if you could do it. I wonder if you could do it with the brown home jersey.
I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
I kind of think it needs to be.
You think it's got to be like all cream? Oklahoma did it. I know who did it. I know that's why that's in my head.
Oklahoma did a cream?
Yeah. Because their colors, their official colors are crimson and cream.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it when right there.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, with a gray face mask, and they have the giant OU on it.
And they went with what? Like a white?
I think it's this set. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the set.
So you could do like a cream with like a brown shoulder like that, or an orange shoulder.
Well, you could just keep our striping.
Keep our striping.
Keep our striping.
On the
I can't tell if the jersey's cream. It looks like it is.
Looks like it.
Yeah, but I think it's almost more of an off-white, as like a mix of. It's not like as creamy as like those starters
my
jackets
starter.
we have.
Yeah, the homage.
Not quite that. But that's a good look.
Yeah,
that's a solid look. And the orange would really, as it does on that jacket, it would pop bigly.
And brown looks good on that with that
Yeah.
as a backdrop.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think there we go.
For sure. It's a balance, though. It is, because you have a historic brand.
And everything
that
we've
is
got right now
sacred,
is beautiful.
And it's all perfect right now. You look exactly how the Cleveland Browns would look.
Should look. I think sometimes when you have, and you know, he had said it, and I think everybody at this point it's safe to say, you know, that 2015 that we switched the uniforms. 14
I don't know.
To 15.
You were the presenting. You were on stage, Coach.
I think it was 14. Is
14
right,
into 15.
I'm pretty sure that was the case. Boy, that was a night.
Well, by the time I got on it, by the time I got here, they were already trying to. We had petitioned the league to wear the Color Rush as like our new primary home,
right?
Because we were just trying to get out of them.
So that would have been after 18 going into 19.
Well,
and then
18 we wore the Color Rushes a lot.
Yep. 19
Baker's rookie year
was our first season in the new uniforms was 20, right?
Was it COVID or or was it 19?
I don't know. We'll have to look.
I think it might have been 19.
The point
it was 19 because it was 20 because you delivered. We got jerseys, and you delivered it to my house because we were in COVID going from home.
That's right.
So that was 2020.
Yeah, it was the new uniforms in
2020. So we had them 2 years. In 19, we wore the Color Rushes as the primary home.
We wore them a lot.
Yeah.
So it was 2020. So that means it was going into the 15 season that they made yours. But sometimes,
2000,
while that was a misstep, and I think everybody knows that was a misstep, it almost made going back to the original better than it would have been had it just always stayed that way.
You wouldn't have appreciated it if it wasn't taken.
Right. And unfortunately for Browns fans, they've dealt with a lot of taken.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, look at the decisions look what's going to be unveiled here in the next week, right? So the Jets went back to a New York Stock Exchange. They did not go back to Namath because they were in that most recently, but they go back to Sack Exchange.
Yep.
That's viewed as a universal hit. I don't know. I wonder if Jets fans like those more than the Namaths. I wonder what one they prefer, because they can have two that they could actually pull from. You have the Bucks that have gone back to a creamsicle as a third, and you're seeing that more and more. That sounds like what Denver's going to do. Denver's going to have like the Elways as like their one-off.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be their main.
It's what the Falcons have with their best uniform is their one-off.
Correct. And the same would be true in Denver. So then how do you balance, hey, here's some new uniforms, but really the one we know you like the most, we're going to wear a couple of times a year versus the majority of the times a year?
And then you get people
That's
to
what's
keep
hard.
saying, hey. And you say, okay. And then in a few years, that becomes...
That's it.
That's what you go with. Didn't those Elway ones on the whites... Am I remembering right? The whites had the baby blue numbers, or am I misremembering?
I don't think they were baby blue. Were they? I don't think so. I think they were blue. Weren't they orange numbers with blue stripe?
What's it?
With blue on the outside?
Broncos.
I think they had orange numbers.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. I know on the orange jersey it was white numbers.
White. Or was it blue? Was it a blue number with an orange pinstripe? How can I not recall those? I can picture them vividly with the orange tops.
So it was.
It was blue?
Yeah.
Oh, so those have got to be sparkly.
Yeah, so it was blue with like a little yellow or orange, outline on them. Now they also had, as I look back here, in the year 1994, according to this, they had a one-off, which was their throwback for that. Remember 94? Everybody wore those
the
old
75th
throwbacks?
anniversary.
That had an orange lid. Yeah, how's that? That's perfect.
Yeah, that's the one.
They had an orange lid with a running.
Oh,
Bronco.
yeah, I remember those. Yes.
Yeah, but they were the white with the blue. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's really clean.
What are we doing?
Yeah. So here's the thing that I think will be very fascinating for them, because they're going to drop theirs next week.
Yep.
And they're going to have the Elway throwback. Do they do it with a white jersey or an orange? My guess is they do it at home, so do it with the orange, even though, to your point, the white is actually better.
Yep.
And then they're going to have a modern version that's going to be kind of a mix-mash of the current color scheme, navy and orange, with like the D. They've had that white helmet. I just feel like they have a layup, and they're going to try to make it more complicated than it needs to be, much like Atlanta did.
Yeah. Atlanta had that gradient jersey that was
right. Correct.
Absurd.
So we've got them. Houston is dropping next week. We've seen their away, but we haven't seen anything else. It sounds like they're going to keep their their home uniform the same.
Which
I don't know why you would ever do
stripe
that.
a little bit. Yeah.
And then they're going to have the H-Town blue, and then they're going to have a red hat. So they're going to have all three hats. And then you'll have Detroit. And that's a fascinating one too, because they're a lot like us in that they've got a storied history. We've had more success recently, although they were great this year, obviously. But very similar franchises in terms of all of it, fan bases, cities, all of it. And when I think of them, I think of Barry.
Same.
And those seem perfect. But I don't know who knows if they'll do that or if they'll go the route of one classic throwback for you, but this is what we're going to wear all the time. It's tricky.
The reality is the Seahawks should wear those classics. When we played them, and they look unbelievable. They're gorgeous. That silver helmet.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing for them is I actually think the ones that they've been wearing for 20 years kind of fit the team, the city, all of it, like that neon and blue.
Yeah.
And they're going to do new ones, I think, next year. I was reading on them that they're going to do a new uniform next year. And they may have a variant this year, too.
That throwback logo, though, is so good.
It is. Yeah.
And you can wear it. I don't know. To me, it's just.
You could even keep the logo the same and just go to those colors.
Yep.
But the problem is that city, it's a little bit of like what Pittsburgh did, where that city's all navy and a shade of green. Like the soccer team's that, the baseball team's that, the NHL's that. They're all navy with with some form of green. So like navy's like the official color of Seattle.
Yeah.
At this point. But these are tough decisions, man, because like JW said, like you're locked into this for 5 years. You make a change, you're locked in.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You want to get that right.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Who do we have? I think we have the 22nd. Is that when all the rest of them are doing it? Is it next week?
I think so.
I know the Lions are the 22nd. Houston.
Broncos are next week. I know that. Griff said that.
And Houston's, I think, next week too with theirs. Cal McNair's been leaking a few of them out from time to time. So, yeah, that's what you're doing. That's what you're up to. As we go around the NFL and sports world, did you guys read this Belichick story?
So I have not read it in its entirety, as it is thorough.
It's lengthy.
But
that's why I printed it and highlighted all the main talking points for you.
This new highlight, we commented while you were running downstairs.
Really
this
remarkable.
new highlighting that you're doing is wonderful. And you really have become adept at it very quickly. Yesterday, he gave me a couple things. We had a couple interviews, obviously, Kirko and Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he gave me a one-sheeter highlighted. There were maybe 2 words that weren't highlighted.
So this is more.
This is he's hitting the top stuff here.
Yeah.
This is his
Yesterday
giant
after
peak.
I did it, I was like, well, highlighted a lot of stuff there, but
No, this is a huge P out of
No,
you.
this is massive.
Okay, I did read this. This is what I think. Happened.
'Kay.
First of all, I believe that all right, here's what is alleged in this story by the way, anytime you see Don Van Natta and Seth Wickersham on a byline, and if it's about you,
Hold
run
your
for the
breath.
hills.
It's not good.
No, because it's comprehensive
piece.
and it's right. They're going to get it right.
They're
Comprehensive. And they got Fowler in on this, too. Known Jeremy for a long time. He used to be on the Gators beat. All right. So the story here is that people in Belichick's camp are alleging that Robert Kraft intervened and told Arthur Blank, do not trust Bill Belichick
Yep.
with your job.
Yep.
And Belichick, on the day that they made the decision to hire Raheem Morris,
That's right.
believed he was going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep.
And he believes Robert Kraft
We all believed he was going to be the next
undercut
coach
him.
of the Falcons.
We all did, yeah. Undercut him. Okay. This is what I think happened. I think Brady's a free agent. Bob Kraft goes into Bill Belichick and says, what do we want to do? I'd really like to keep Tom. I'd like him to play for the Patriots forever. I view him like a son. Belichick says, I think he's washed. I think we can keep this thing going on our own.
Yep.
I think I can flip it in a hurry. Trust me, I'll handle it. And then he watched as Tom Brady won a Super Bowl his first season in Tampa Bay. He watched as Belichick trotted out Cam Newton the first year after Tom, where they brought him in camp, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, so Cam Newton. And then he said, okay, that didn't go well, Bob, but I'm going to get this one right, boss. Mac Jones. Let's go get us a Mac Jones. He's our quarterback. And then that falls off a cliff. And then you hire a defensive guy to be his offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden Bob Kraft wakes up 5 years later and goes, what the hell happened?
Yep.
I had the best organization in all of world sports, the winningest organization in the last 2 decades, and now all of a sudden, because of you, I got an also-ran, and I'm wondering how good are you, or how much of it was the guy that has a quarterback who I thought was like a son, and maybe if I just would have went with him and gone with Josh McDaniel, we wouldn't be in this spot. That's my hunch.
It's interesting, though, that all being said and that all being true, you cannot deny what he did for that city, for that organization
Sure.
for 20 years.
But that part
So
comes into where I'm choosing you over Brady.
For sure. It's one thing to be like, okay, I got that wrong. I don't believe in him. It's another thing, though, to then feel the need to call another owner and be like, don't hire Bill Belichick.
Agreed.
That
That's another
feels
step.
like a real step. That's
but
how
imagine
can
the
you have that
bitterness.
much, but how can you have that much personal animus against someone who gave you
Because
that
you're-
level of greatness?
Just to play devil's advocate, because you assign the person who gave you the greatness to this person who he helped you run out the door, not you. The track record would suggest that Belichick with Brady versus without are drastically different.
duh.
Right. So all of a sudden, the
But
bitterness
Belichick
of that,
won when Brady wasn't Brady.
but he never won without him.
I think
When he
take
won
Mac Jones to the
early, it was
playoffs
like
his
winning
rookie
without
year?
Tom Brady, even though it was Tom Brady. Like
I would
those
agree, but I would
teams and
also.
those
I mean, I was at their
offense-
first Super Bowl.
It was not about Brady.
The kid was clutch.
He was very
on that
clutch.
drive. He was always great in the postseason. They didn't throw for 5,000 yards, but he
No.
was honestly very similar with a bigger arm to like what Purdy does for the 49ers in
Yes,
those years.
but not even that prolific. But yes,
No, but different
For
sport. It's a different sport. In that
era relative.
In that era, I bet it was very similar. So, yeah, I just think that's where the bitterness comes from.
Of
like,
course, but
wait a
like-
second, like, dude, what have you done to my franchise the last 5 years? I gave you carte blanche. You have both of your kids on the staff. You got your former defensive guy being the offensive coordinator. You tell me to draft Mac Jones, and then you don't give him a chance to succeed. Now I'm off of Mac Jones. I'm drafting another quarterback. I have no talent on this roster because I've given you the full keys of the kingdom. Go straight to hell.
I understand that. And
That's
then
what I think.
That's called you fire him and say, you know what, I need to go
But
in a new
there's
direction.
another-
But then to go and call
It's another
the
level of
owner
bitterness.
of the Falcons
There's another level
and be
of
like, Bill
bitterness.
Belichick doesn't deserve to coach in this league.
You don't believe he did it then? Or do you just think it's
No, I think he
vitriolic?
did. I'm saying to me that's over the top.
It might be, but I don't disagree with you on that, but I do think that's what happened.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I just think it's outrageous. Like, you may not be pleased with the way it ended, and you ultimately had the chance to maybe extend it for a couple more years. but you got 20 of the 25 right.
Yes.
He's a big reason why. Brady, obviously, as it went on, became the biggest reason why. But he was a pretty big reason why.
For sure.
Things he was able to do, his defensive scheme, all those guys credit Bill Belichick.
I'm sure Bob Kraft credits himself, too, a great deal.
Sure. I don't understand. It would be like, to me, if, I'm trying to think, if Phil Jackson
Okay.
or Popovich,
Okay.
like the Spurs have fallen off. Popovich they're not what they were. And so they, you know what, we need to change things up. It's the end of the Popovich era, but then I'm going to call every other team in the league and be like, don't hire Greg Popovich.
I think it's just more
That feels
believable if Popovich bailed on Duncan 4 years left in his career and said, yeah, he's washed. Choose my path instead of his. And then Duncan went to the Lakers and won a Super Bowl in year one.
He won one
That's
more.
where the bitterness comes from.
He won one more.
That's the bitterness. That's where it comes from.
He
Not
won
saying it's
one,
rational.
And then he went to the
But also-
Do
NFC
you think he
divisional
thought he
round,
was
like,
washed?
year?
At
I
that
think
point?
Belichick thought he was done. He drafted Garoppolo. Like,
Sure.
he wanted out of the Brady business 3 years before.
His last season in New England, they went 12-4. He threw for 4,057 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 picks.
I think Bill Belichick
I think
wanted
he's
to do it on
washed.
his own, and I think he was sick of Brady, and I think he thought that he could do it with anybody. That's why they drafted Garoppolo.
Sometimes things run their course.
Totally.
It was time.
He blew it. They'd have been better off keeping Brady,
Of course.
and that's the bitterness.
The wild thing is the last time that Brady was even in the MVP voting before he went to Tampa was 2017. So he had two more seasons where he was, I still think, pretty darn good. 43, 55, 29, and 11. Now, he did complete 60.8% of his passes that final season in New England, which was his career low. They still went 12-4. And then obviously went down to Tampa and was incredibly prolific where he's throwing the ball, 700.
But also, the AFC
720
East
times.
was trash.
For a long time. But I
Yeah.
mean, you had the Jets, you had that good Jets run. You had the Bills late in the
Allen.
run with Allen, but that's still that's recent history. The Dolphins really have only gotten good very recently, which is after Brady was gone, even though the Dolphins used to give the Patriots fits even in their heyday. It's just again, I get it that he made it. Ultimately, though, when you're the owner, you make the call. So his call was to give Bill Belichick the right to do it the way he wanted to. If he didn't want to get rid of Tom Brady, there's nobody above him.
Well, no, but he's not going to blame himself. What do you want him to come on there and be like, I really blew this? Like, he's got to blame somebody.
But that's fine. But I don't think you need to call Arthur Blank and say,
Okay.
don't hire Bill Belichick. That's the part that bothers me. Everything else I'm fine with.
You're this worried about little Bill?
I'm not worried about Bill at all. I just think it is an insane level of
Okay, but like
pettiness.
it's a billionaire owner. You're saying it's shocking he's acting irrationally?
I don't know about
Like, is this surprising to you that he did this? Like, this isn't
Yeah.
surprising at all to me.
It's very
This totally
surprising.
seems like in play. It totally seems like. I bet many owners would do this. Bitterness. Jerry Jones kept Jimmy Johnson out of the Ring of Honor for 20 years.
It's crazy. I think that's crazy.
Like,
I think it's completely
you want him to
crazy.
be like, I mean, Jerry won't even. The guy was in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and Jerry's like, we got a lot of guys we got to get in there. Hold on. He did the Herschel Walker trade. He won 2 Super Bowls, set you up for a third. But because he got more credit than you did for it, he has to sit on the sidelines?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, come on. These guys are – this is what happens.
By
That's
the
what
way,
happens.
on top of everything,
That's why I think
this
it's crazy.
ESPN
I agree.
bombshell article, Belichick's on McAfee right now. They announced Belichick's going to join McAfee next Thursday night for their special McAfee show draft night.
I think Bill will be
Coverage.
very good at this. And quite honestly –
He's going to Omaha Productions. It's better for him
it's going to
that
be
he's not
better that
coaching.
he's not.
Yes.
Like,
But the baller move is if you look up McAfee right now and Belichick's doing this hit in the background, are all the Super Bowl trophies on shelf.
yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
yes, of course.
Call me whatever you want.
Well, I just think here's the reality of it. It's very difficult for anything to end well,
Correct.
right?
Right.
No matter how great it is. Look at The Last Dance with Jordan. The mess. I mean, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen can't stand each other now. Jordan's kid dated Pippen's ex-wife, was engaged to her, for God's sakes. The Last Dance pushed that thing in every other direction. Look at what happened to Shaq, Kobe, Lakers. Like, give me an example of dynasty greatness where it ends kumbaya. It's rare, man.
Joe Montana.
It's
The great
really
Steve
rare.
Young.
Yeah,
Foot
it's
singing.
hard. There's usually incredible bitterness, and usually what it comes down to is ego and who gets credit. It's tough.
I maybe I'm just naive.
Hey, did you guys see well, no, you're not naive. You're smart.
I'm just stunned that it's one thing to fire.
Were you
him.
stunned that were you equally stunned that Jerry Jones
Oh my
kept
God,
that up?
that's the most it's
Absurd and stunned are different, though. Because I agree, this is absurd, but this isn't stunning to me.
And maybe the difference is, to me, like, Jerry's persona publicly is wide-ranging, emotional. So, like, for him to maybe be like, especially with what he did, Barry Switzer, all of it, like, for him to either love somebody and then hate them, seems kind of in play. That's kind of he's kind of a maverick.
I think he's just far more public than Bob is. But I think there's a reason they're always so tight.
For sure.
Those two. They're very similar.
For sure. I just can't. I think the thing that's crazy for me is that as a person in his position, right? Like, when you pick up the phone and make that call,
Yeah.
like, you are making it.
Now, he's denied it. To be fair, he has denied it.
What did you say about when it's reported by Don?
No, I
Van
know.
Natta
But
and
like
Seth Wickersham?
he has denied it. I'm curious how it got out. If it happened, how did it get out? Because it's sourcing from a Belichick source that Kraft called blank.
Or it could be from a blank source.
Yeah. But why would blank give up Kraft if they're that tight?
Yeah.
I feel like owners don't ever give up each other with a
So
couple of
he's
exceptions.
denying it.
Yes.
So that's interesting to me too. Now, if he didn't do it, obviously all you can do is deny it. So that would be the truth.
And honestly, even if he did, he could deny it.
But why would you deny it at that point?
Well, because he's still worried about his constituents, which are the fans.
And he would realize
wants
that it
it-
comes off not good. So
comes
then
off not good,
don't
yeah.
do it.
Yeah. But vengeance, bitterness.
Vengeance on a person who was
You
some
keep having the
percentage-
same conversation,
Hold on.
looking for a
Hold on.
rational thing.
Some percentage responsible for the growth in the fortune of this company. Certainly, it's brand, all of it. Like,
For sure.
the Patriots aren't who the Patriots are without Bill Belichick, even
No.
if Tom Brady's there.
No.
It's a wild level of bitter. It's scary. It's a scary. Listen, I know what it's like to
comes
deal.
down
I know
to-
what it's like to deal with vengeance.
It comes down to
It's
you
just
do.
a scary
It
level.
comes down to
Maybe
cre-
I'm a little
in so
shell-shocked.
many of these instances. It just comes down to credit, like who gets the credit. And my hunch is, if you were to ask Bob Kraft, he would go, "I probably would have liked a little more credit." Like, it was Belichick, Brady. Nobody ever mentions him. He's like, I wrote all the checks. I built
I'm
the
the one that
stadium.
wanted Belichick.
I built Patriots Way. I went and hired him.
Yep.
Like-
I don't know about
So
that.
I-
He's featured in all the stuff. Like,
It
even when
isn't.
they
It's
used to do the
Belichick,
Americans
Brady.
games.
It's always Belichick, Brady. That's always what you get.
But it's what owner has ever gotten
But
that
all of
level
them
of
want
credit?
it. A lot of them want it. A lot of them want it.
It'd
They
be
do.
to me like if this Kansas City, if the Hunt family ultimately starts bad mouthing Andy Reid. Look at him today with a tie.
It's
What?
rare. We see that.
What?
Big. He's got to run a big business.
Whoa!
It's a big business, man. You rocking
Man.
a tie. Holy cow. Stay out of his way. Stay out of
Good
his
thing
way.
we're behind
kids.
double pane glass.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. All right, there you go. Kirko coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.